I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
You said we're the only ones who were just sitting back reacting instead of being proactive. So something definitely has to change.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But speaking of critical thinking, this brother right here, I wish he would employ more critical thinking before he talks. Sometimes I love him as a basketball player. I love a lot of things he does off the court. But LeBron, LeBron, I'm just keep it real. I've always said there's some people that love white folks way too much. Some of us. I'm starting to think LeBron might be in that category, man. He might be in that category. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. So LeBron been under some heat because he went on this golf YouTube show. I think the guy's name is Bob Does, right? So LeBron was on the golf course with these guys, bunch of white dudes, and they were talking about something like, him being 41 and being on the road, and he expressed like his disdain for going to Milwaukee and to Memphis. Right. He said, well, I hate going to Memphis and this moving to Nashville. You got NASCAR there. You got all this there. And you got these white boys like, well, I don't think LeBron would want to play for the Grizzlies anymore. And a lot of people had a problem with that because Memphis is a predominantly Black city.
Yeah.
And the NBA and the revenue that the NBA team brings into the city is very important to this Black ran city. So people took umbrage to LeBron yucking it up with these white boys on the golf course, talking about how bad Memphis sucks. Now, I already know one person on the show is going to talk about how much they hate Memphis as well. They've said it plenty of times. And I'll let them out themselves. But I will say that that person is not alone. And there's several people that say, like, I can't stand Memphis. But I'm going to ask the question, was LeBron out of line?
I mean, it's like UNC used to say, just be quiet.
Yeah.
Just be quiet. Because, I mean, if you don't like Memphis, just don't go. Don't do Memphis in May. Don't, you know what I mean? You're going there and making money. So if you don't like it there, just don't go. But there are lots of people who love it there. And there's lots of culture there, culture that needs to be preserved. And like you said, that revenue coming into the city is very important to preserving that culture. And even in Milwaukee, like I have family there. So I know firsthand a lot of people who've worked for, maybe not necessarily the NBA, but they work for the sports teams, especially when they're younger. And if we stop having employment opportunities for these young men, what do you think is going to happen to the city? It's going to get worse. That's the last thing I want to see. So I think they should just.
And I got to say this, man. People are focusing on Memphis, but he did say Milwaukee as well, right? And Milwaukee is a god-awful city. The state of Wisconsin, now you do the research. The state of Wisconsin is the worst state for Black people in the U.S. in terms of talking about the quality of life, the number of black people incarcerated in the state of Wisconsin. It's documented. The state of Wisconsin is awful. It's an awful state for Black people, right? Memphis definitely has its challenges with poverty and with crime, infrastructure, however you want to frame it. But my problem with LeBron is that's not a conversation. You are old enough. You're talking about I'm 41, right? You're old enough to know that there's certain things that you really shouldn't be talking about with these white boys.
Yeah.
And he continues to make this mistake. As much as I love LeBron, I remember how he was on stage with Justin Timberlake. I can't stand Justin Timberlake for what he did to Janet.
He from Memphis.
Fuck Justin Timberlake. I know I don't like to curse on the show, but fuck Justin Timberlake.
That tracks.
We love Janet,
Yes,
right?
we do.
LeBron on stage, this is my brother dancing and all this old stuff, right? Then you got beef with Stephen A. Smith. I don't have a problem with that because Stephen A. Smith deserves all the fire that he gets, right? Because we know about Stephen A. But then you go on Pat McAfee show, another goofy white boy, to talk about Stephen A. Now I don't know about y'all. I don't talk about black people, but I ain't gonna talk about black people in front of white people. And I
Not
don't
to
know
go
why.
on their show. Yeah.
And not to go on a show. Like
Yeah.
you could have went on any show. I understand
Any show. Yeah.
a podcast ain't ESPN, but you are LeBron James.
Yeah.
You
You
LeBron
should go on a
James. You could have went on the
show.
you could have went on the Breakfast Club, even though I don't really fool with them. You could have used your influence to go anywhere because like he don't really do interviews like that.
No.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with your boy. We ain't gonna go there, but with Jay-Z, you doing an interview with GQ when you could have did it, with a black media. But I ain't gonna touch Jay-Z because I know how y'all feel about it, right? So like LeBron continually to making these mistakes. I'm not ready to just say he's a sellout or anything, but you got to tighten it up. You got to tighten it up because your influence is too important, and you have to be at a point at 41. You keep saying I'm 41, I'm 41. Well, at 41 comes knowledge and wisdom.
No, yeah.
Good.
And he's one of those people that I think he knows he shouldn't have done it, but he's gonna double down on it though. So then he comes back and says, not just Memphis and not just Milwaukee. I don't like going to Cleveland either. And I'm from there. And he says that, like that makes it better. No, that's what you picked, like literally probably the three blackest cities outside of Detroit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Milwaukee, I ain't gonna say Milwaukee ain't that black, but you got Akron, Cleveland, and Memphis.
Yeah,
you dogging
the
them.
Rust Belt, the place that you grew up, and you see how state governments are literally at war with these majority black cities. You think about Tennessee, they take the funding from there. I mean, we just talked about Missouri. The state of Missouri outside of Kansas City and St. Louis, they hate Kansas City and St. Louis. I'm sure it's the same way with Tennessee. Outside of Memphis, they hate Memphis, and so they're going to underfund them. They're not going to give them the resources. And so then, you are going to have quote unquote aesthetically bad looking cities or what have you, because they're not getting the full support that these other cities are getting.
And you look at Nashville. You look at Nashville, compare Bill Street to Broadway Street. You got jazz and blues versus honky tonk, right? You got NASCAR, you got all the different corporate headquarters that are in Nashville, right? Nashville is like a white man's Atlanta, like Boston is. Nashville is like a miniature white Atlanta for them white boys. So you up here trying to direct, just go to Nashville. And the thing that really made it disappointing, you got your white boy voice on.
That to me, that was
you got your white boy voice on when you saying that.
Yeah.
Now listen, go ahead.
If he had said that on The Shop, where he's on there with Maverick Carter and the other cats that he grew up with or whatever, I think it would have hit differently too. But like you said, he's on the golf course, which LeBron just started playing golf 2 months ago, over this past summer with these white kids. These are young kids. You know what I mean? They're not even like well established. So they're doing everything for clickbaits and they're trying to get you and you fell right into it.
Yeah.
They using you to broaden their platform.
And I'll be damned if I'm a billionaire using a white boy voice.
Yeah.
Now, listen. I didn't have to change my voice in the past before, working in corporate America. I ain't gonna front. I don't do it no more.
Yeah.
I don't do it no more. I'm very secure in what you get is what you get from me, right? But it's just super disappointing. And to be smug about it. Because here's my thing, LeBron. You've done a lot for the Black community. You've done a lot for Black people. You don't like what's going on in Memphis. You don't like what's going on in Akron. Do something about it. You
But
got the
see
ability.
that's even
You got the ability to do it. You started the school. Now, when he started the school in
yes.
Akron and they was going after him, I rolled for him because they was like, LeBron started the school in Akron and the scores are in the tank and this, that, and the other. It was a wraparound school, right? So this school
Yeah.
that provides services, in terms of like, food, job placement for the parents, all these different things, right? And they said the scores is in the tank or whatever. And I said, well, damn, what do you think? If you're going after the people that need these services, you're going to have a harder time getting them up to par. That's where the
Yeah.
resources is needed. I
Yeah.
gave him props for that. He didn't do an Oprah and say, "Well, listen, you know what? I made my money in Chicago, but I'm gonna start a school in Africa." He did his thing. But if you got the wherewithal, if you got the means to be able to make a difference, then do that. Don't get up there and talk shit about a city that you know is predominantly Black. And maybe he don't know. Maybe he didn't know.
No, he does. That's the crazy part because he did partner with Penny Hardaway, and did some like basketball, built some basketball courts and all this kind of like a basketball facility type deal, maybe 10 years ago or something in Memphis.
He knows.
Yeah, he knows.
Okay.
And the sidebar, it was kind of a, I ain't gonna say it was a big deal, but he had his shoes that came out and he was that he wore when he was in Memphis this year. And they was it was like in Black History Month, but he colored them to Lorraine Motel where MLK got shot. And and he was supposed to y'all don't remember that?
What?
No, I don't watch
Hold on,
basketball.
He has a colorway of the new of the whatever the LeBron James 23 or 22, whatever it is. And it was during Black History Month, and it was the colors of them were the Lorraine Motel, and it was like an homage to Memphis. But why did he choose the Lorraine Motel? It was the I don't know, teal kind of greenish that's
I got it in my head.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I know the color, but I'm trying to figure out why would you use the Lorraine Motel color?
exactly.
That's where Dr. King was assassinated.
Exactly. So people from
What the fuck
Memphis
is
was
wrong with
already
you?
people from Memphis probably already was kind of like looking at King James a little sideways. And now I know y'all saw the video, all them fans outside the arena basically talking about I forget King James. Some of them were using harsher language than that, but yeah.
I know, yeah, it's Memphis for sure. Yeah, so,
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
yeah.
You better watch his back.
So, yeah.
Or they get with him.
But they try to say that to be fair, Bron isn't the only player that has said they hate going to Memphis.
Right.
And I know plenty of people who say they hate Memphis. Me personally, I love Memphis. Every time I go, I have a great time. I have family there. I got frat brothers there.
Sound like he got a trip lined up to Memphis coming up.
Listen, I wish I did. In fairness, LeBron isn't the only player.
Yeah.
That said that they hate going to Memphis.
Right.
But there's no other player like LeBron.
Exactly.
We've said it in the past. When you look at the NBA, I'm gonna give an example. So when you look at the NBA and the contracts, right? Bron can't do what a Tom Brady did in the NFL. Brady took a team-friendly contract, right? So they could get players to put around him. Bron really can't do that because if LeBron takes a lesser contract, then that screws all the other players who aren't LeBron because they say, well, listen, LeBron is, in some people's eyes, the greatest player ever. And if he took less money, who are you not to take less money?
Right.
So it's incumbent on LeBron to take the max amount every time so that he protects the other players. That's the type of influence he has. And he knows that he has that type of influence. So it's incumbent upon him to be smarter and to not use words that can hurt Black people, whether it's inadvertent or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a difference between saying, hey, I really don't like going to Memphis and saying, hey, they should move this major team out of
Huge.
this city to a white city. There's a huge difference. That's a
And you
huge
know
totally
it's a
different.
Black city. And you know it's a Black ran city.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a huge
it's a
that's
totally
the
different
part.
conversation.
That's the part. And that's the thing. A lot of players aren't LeBron number one, but I don't hear a lot of players either saying move the team. They just could be like, hey, I don't like going there. They have a whack hotel. There's no nightlife or whatever that we enjoy. They don't have restaurants we like, but
Now,
they don't say, hey, move this team, you know.
Now I saw a conspiracy of somebody on IG. They said that Clutch Management, Maverick, they're based in Nashville. So
I believe it. I believe that. Yeah.
LeBron stating this narrative, Draymond, I heard Draymond put it out there as well. They are all connected. So
they all connected.
They may be playing chess, right? To try to say we get the team in Nashville is closer to where, we do our business at. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if them cats is thinking on that level. I think it's just more so people got to be smarter with their influence. For example, before we wrap up the show, I saw the Sisters on Point, Jackie Reed. There was a picture going out with Boys to Men and Mike Johnson, representing Mike Johnson, right? So Boys to Men were with this dude, this MAGA dude. So people was like, oh, Boys to Men, MAGA, Boys to Men, MAGA. She did deeper
Speaker
research.
of the House, Mike Johnson?
Yes.
Okay.
Boys to Men,
I haven't seen
picture with the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, MAGA. So people say, Boys to Men, MAGA. Now, the backstory was this. Boys to Men were lobbying for artists for them to get paid off the songs that are played on the radio. Because the songs that are played on the radio, the people that get paid are the labels and the people that wrote the music. The actual artists don't get paid off record spins. So Boys to Men went there representing a multitude of artists, Black and white, to try to get legislation put into place for the artists. Nothing wrong with that. You have to talk to both sides. That's the way politics work, right?
It should.
What you don't have to do is take the picture.
Yeah.
Because what happened, Mike Johnson posted a picture. I had a real good time hosting Boys to Men. They taking a picture of Wanye with his creepy ass. Shout out to Brandy. Wanye got his hand on Mike Johnson, right? You don't have to take the picture because you have to know how it could be manipulated. I know there's certain artists that if there is, certain male artists, if there's a fan that is too flamboyant, they won't take the picture, right? Because they don't want it to be manipulated to create a narrative like, oh, well, I don't want people to say whatever about me. So at this age, because Boys and Men are older than us, or they might be the same age.
They older.
Just a little bit. They ain't that much older.
No, I would say considerably. Probably five, at least 5 years.
You think so?
Yeah.
Let's look it up. They probably in their early 50s. What do you say?
5 years.
Let's say.
I bet they
how much you give them, Marika? I'm gonna Google it.
I say they 55.
I'm gonna say over 50.
They 50. They're definitely over 50, but they 55.
I'm gonna say 52, 53.
I mean, 5 years older than me is not the same as 5 years older than y'all. So
I'm gonna say 52. I'm gonna say 52. Let's see. Let's see what Chat GPT has to say.
Because 5 years older than me is not 50.
Hey man, fuck you and your young ass. You know what I'm saying? That came out wrong.
That 5 years older than me, I still ain't 50.
It will be 50 after October, but for now, 5 years won't be enough to answer the question.
Even get to 50,
here.
yeah.
Are they over 50? Yes, they're more
sure.
than 5 years older than me for sure.
Yeah, I know they weren't that much older. Nathan is 53, Wanye 52, Sean 50, and Sean 52.
Okay.
Like 3 years. I knew they weren't that much older. Yeah. I know. At any rate, they're old enough to know better. They're old enough to know how your influence and your image can be used against you if you allow it to be. Right?
Yeah,
We
but
gotta
see
take
that's the slippery slope though you talk about though. It's just like you got to talk to both sides. And so when you go to Cap, they that's what they do. The people that lobby, they take pictures with the people. I mean, so
They do.
you playing the game, or you're not playing the game. I mean,
That
it's
part.
one or the other. There's no I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna keep one foot in and one foot out. You either in or you out.
Well, that's
When
because
you
if you start slighting people, they're not going to work with
That's what I'm
you.
saying.
Good
Exactly.
luck.
Exactly. Because those are the people that ultimately that's what a lobbyist, that those are the people you gotta ingratiate yourself. You get in good graces with these people to get your agenda passed. And if that means taking a picture, then you're gonna take a picture. If you're not gonna take a picture, you might as well not even go lobby.
Nope.
I disagree, but I understand. I
Mm.
understand where you're coming from.
It
I just think that in
it
normal,
ain't like they dominating the Trump.
listen, right, right. Shout out to Chile. Um, I think pre-MAGA, you could do that. Pre-MAGA, you could do that. But now, because I was going to say in normal times, I don't think Black people have ever lived in normal times. So I'm going to say pre-MAGA, you probably could do that. But now the stakes are so high that you can't leave anything to chance. And we've talked about this whole show. These folks are strategic, they are nefarious, and they're manipulative. And and Mike Johnson knew what he was doing when he said, "Hey, I had a great time hosting Boys and Men." He don't give a shit if they get paid off the radio. They are a shield to be like, look, I'm not racist. Look, I got these darkies in my that sing in my office. That's what he was using that for. And they got to be smart enough, in my personal opinion, to not allow themselves to be used that way or their image to be used that way. Artists do it all the time. They protect their image. They protect their likeness all the time. They know when they don't want to take pictures. They know when they don't want to be associated with something because how it's going to impact their brand. This ain't nothing different.
Politicians don't do that though.
Yeah. And
They
again,
just make a big deal.
you're right, if you going, then you going. You're getting the full experience.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah. So if you say don't do it, then you're right. Don't even go lobby. Have somebody else go do it if you're not willing to do
Or
it.
just be like, hey man, listen, we here to work. We're not here taking pictures. So we ain't taking pictures with you. We ain't taking pictures with Hakeem Jeffries or anybody else.
They probably took the picture beforehand. Like, hey, you got to take this picture if you want to be heard.
That's crazy too.
Extortion.
I
But,
couldn't be a politician.
but listen, Brian, do better. I still love you, man, but you got to do better. To the Black young men and women at Mizzou, stay strong. We got your back. We'll be there to support you in any way possible, whether it be through our funds, financially, emotionally, even with our presence. We're going to be there. But it's time for us to get on the offense, Black people. It's time for us to get on the offense. We can't just stay on the ropes. You got to fight back. What did Roy Jones? Yeah, I'm a boxing fan. I promise I'm gonna wrap it up. Roy, the great Roy Jones. He's a boxing coach now, and his fighter was out there, and he said, hey man, he said he's bitching you out right now. That's what he's doing. So either you gonna fight or you gonna quit. But he's bitching you out right now. And right now, Black people, they bitching us out. So either we gonna fight or we gonna quit.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about it enough. Make sure you go to our Facebook and Instagram at Man Listen Show. Make sure you subscribe to the show and let everybody know about the Blackest Radio Show on the internet. And we'll catch you next time. Peace. Shout out to C.